We keep using the word solution in the United States and in international forums. I think we should move from thinking about solving the problem to managing the problem, John. And here's why I say that. Because nobody ever thought there could be peace between Israel and Egypt, and yet there is. There's a peace agreement that is held for 45 years now. That was negotiated in 1979, called the Camp David Accords. It guaranteed the security of both sides by giving both sides money to purchase weapons that they could use if they ever had to go back to war against one another. It also gave back some of the land that Egypt had forfeited when they had attacked Israel, and that peace is held. It does not mean there's a love between these two nations. There is not, but the peace has held. Think of other places in the world. North Korea and South Korea are technically still at war today. And yet South Korea has become prosperous. Why? Because they haven't tried to solve the war problem, they've just managed within it. Same with Taiwan and the People's Republic of China. So I think what we might see is if people will come in and help rebuild Gaza with Hamas not in the picture, help it become a Mediterranean seaport, perhaps a resort destination. They've got 25 beautiful miles of Mediterranean coast. If the people can be retrained and educated to not be radicalized the way they have been in the past, then it might be possible that they could obtain prosperity. And when people find that being peaceful leads to economic prosperity, they're more likely to maintain the peace and to aggressively prosecute those who would not want to maintain that.
Now let's talk about the problems with what we're facing. The fact is, for a change in the charter, a change in the Palestinian people, there's going to have to be somebody, a new leader is going to have to emerge from the Palestinians. That's right. That is going to say, I will accept and sign a peace agreement with Israel, and I will agree to the fact that they can have that land and they can build their state, and we are not going to attack them. The fact is, we need a leader like that, and that's a big, big if.
That's a huge ask. Well, remember, there are two Palestinian territories. There's Gaza, this tiny part of the land where the war has been taking place, and then there's the West Bank. There are probably 3 million people in the West Bank. About 500,000 of them are Jews, and the rest are Arabs. In that territory, the leader is named Mahmoud Abbas. He's 88 years old. He believes he's going to live into his hundreds. Every single person you talk to on the streets, John, will tell you flat out he is corrupt. This is why Hamas, in the minds of the people, even in the West Bank, is rising. So they don't see any hope there. Hamas will kill anybody who rises up inside of Hamas to say, guys, let's quit fighting and recognize that Israel has a right to exist. So it doesn't seem like this is possible to happen at this point. But somehow there needs to be a Palestinian leader who will rise up, have the trust of the people, be intelligent enough to advocate for the Palestinian cause so that they don't appear to be weak in the face of Israel, but at the same time be willing to acknowledge Israel's right to exist.
And number two, for that leader to succeed, Hamas has got to be completely gone.
Yes. That doesn't mean that every single person who's in Hamas has to die. In World War II, all of the people who had been Nazis didn't end up getting killed. But the Nazis were prevented from fielding a military and prevented from forming a government. And then through time, the people who had become indoctrinated as Nazis presumably either left those beliefs or quit advocating for them, and that allowed there to be peace.
And third, the whole educational system in Hamas would have to change.
The entire education system needs to change. Shamefully, the United Nations schools have been allowing some of this same curriculum in. The United Nations schools, through a group called UNRWA, are funded. One of the major donors to that is the United States of America. So in essence, we have been paying in the United States to indoctrinate these children for generations. That has got to stop. Now, how long does it take for someone who's been indoctrinated for 20 or 25 years to not be indoctrinated anymore? It's difficult. That's why you have to take the economic opportunities and build them alongside the changes that you're making. So people feel like you're not trying to destroy their culture, you're trying to help them thrive.
Yeah, and the leaders in the West Bank and the leaders in Gaza are fighting each other about as much as they're fighting Israel.
That's right.
So that's got to be settled as well. Do you have a way of settling that?
Well, Hamas and Hezbollah and the Palestinians in the West Bank, which are mainly you would think of the Nablus tribe of Palestinians, they are at war with one another. They would have a civil war if Israel was not in the middle. I don't know how you bring peace between those groups. I think the world has got to continue to put pressure on Iran to withdraw its support of this Hezbollah group in Lebanon. That's a whole other situation. Lebanon has not been able to put together a government because they've got 100,000 of these radicalized fighters paid for by Iran, and they threaten Israel's border to the north. So the more we talk about it, the more I think, I don't even know if the solutions I talked about would even be possible.
And the world has to deal with Iran and Lebanon.
Yes.
And we have a problem there.
We do. If you think of all the nations surrounding Israel, you've got Lebanon, which doesn't have a functional state. It's basically taken over by this Hezbollah terrorist group. You've got Syria, which is in the middle of a civil war. They have a dictator there, and 1.5 million people have died. You've got Jordan, which is unstable, and then you have Egypt, which is a very poor country. So economic prosperity needs to come to this entire region, and I think a lot of it, a lot of the other nations in the region are recognizing if we're willing to cooperate with the West, then we can trade with them, we can use our land and so forth to have new ports and things like that, and we can become prosperous. There's no reason why Gaza shouldn't be the next Dubai and be one of the wealthiest areas of the world.
We also have to fight anti-Semitism in our own country.
Anti-Semitism is a major problem in the rising generation, and more young adults in the United States, and I think this is true in countries around the world, have begun to believe conspiracy theories against the Jews. They have begun to believe that there's a small cabal of Jews who are controlling the entire world, and that simply is people who feel anxious and don't know what to do, and they would prefer to believe a conspiracy theory about some shadowy cabal than to do the hard work of thoughtfully analyzing the ideas that are at play.